Today's report comes from a sighting deep in the Alaskan forest from a bowhunter who supposedly had a run-in with Bigfoot. His name is Johnny Musgrave, and what he saw that day is as vivid to him today as it was then. This is his story. It was early October, the kind of crisp morning bowhunters dream about. Frost on the grass, steam rising from your breath, and the echo of grunting moose rolling through the valley. I'd been glassing an area off and on for weeks, looking for the biggest bull moose I could get my hands on. This was the morning I finally found him. Our hunter set up near a spruce thicket, his bow in hand, heart steady. Hours of waiting had brought him here, and the signs were good. Broken branches, fresh tracks. The bull was close. Then I heard it. Footsteps. I turned in the direction of the noise. What I saw made my heart skip a beat. Now, there's lots of sounds that can spook a deer or other animals, but there's one sound that always gets me amped when I hear it. The unmistakable sound of breaking twigs under heavy pressure. It's the sound that says the thing you're after is moving in closer. You've already seen the tracks, but hearing the sound sets your anticipation into overdrive. As the huge bull moose walked by within 20 yards, he was exactly as wide as I hoped. My heart hammered against my ribs like a drum solo as I watched him quartering away, back towards the thickets. I'd seen this bull earlier in the year during archery season last year. He was only 4 yards away and broadside to me. I took a deep breath and came to full draw. Every fiber of my being locked onto that bull. He grunted and shifted his weight onto his back leg. The string slipped out of my fingers and the shot was lost. I sat there frozen in the cold air, watching him plod away into the trees. Hours passed, and though the sun was high overhead now, I stayed put. Finally, the bull came back out of the thicket. He was only 15 yards from me and broadside. This time I wasn't missing. The arrow sank into his shoulder. The bull grunted loudly and charged out of the clearing and into the timber. I followed. After what felt like forever, I finally found him. The bull lay on his side, his grunts reduced to a gurgle and his breathing growing slow and shallow. He was down. Thankfully, my arrow had found its mark, and the huge bull moose only went 60 yards before piling up. Finally, the adrenaline began to ebb away, and I started shaking. My hands were clammy and my teeth chattered as the evening chill bit at my skin. I checked my phone and saw a text from my wife asking how the hunt was going. I texted her back, telling her that we'd got a bull and that I'd be heading back soon. I was just beginning to feel warm again when the crunch of packed snow reached my ears. I looked around everywhere but couldn't tell where the noise had come from. It was time to go see my bull, and I headed off through the trees. Just before dusk, the forest opened into a small clearing, and there he was, the bull. Antlers like a crown, heavily muscled body. He had to weigh 800 pounds at least. My pulse quickened as I just looked at him, impressed by his size. I was in shock as my hand wouldn't even go or the base of his antlers. He had fought hard and well, but now it was over. I felt overwhelmed with emotion to be in his presence, such a majestic animal. The forest seemed to sigh around us as the sun dipped below the horizon. I began to gut the animal, talking quietly, mindful of the solemnity of the moment. Suddenly I stopped. I sensed something near, something watching me, looking through the trees, trying to see what was there, and that's when I heard it. Heavy, deliberate footsteps. They weren't the crunching of snow under tires, nor the snapping of twigs underfoot. It was a sound that didn't fit. Something immense moving through the trees. I stood abruptly, sending a shower of snow and gravel skittering down the hill. The footsteps stopped. I stared towards the sounds. My face felt pale in the dying light. Should I run? Hide? Fight? I didn't know what I was dealing with, but whatever it was big. Much bigger than any bear. Although a big brown bear coming for a free meal made the most sense. I grabbed my bow and instinctively notched an arrow. In the faint light, I saw it emerge from the tree line. It moved with an eerie grace, almost floating through the underbrush. Its stride was long and powerful, eating up the ground between the trees. Fear turned to curiosity. What was this creature? Was it a bear? It didn't look like any bear I'd ever seen. As it drew closer, I could see that it was bipedal, moving on 2 legs. Its arms hung low, almost dragging on the ground. Despite its size, it was surprisingly silent, moving with a strange, fluid grace that belied its bulk. It paused, sniffing the air, and in that moment, I could see that it wasn't just big, it was massive, towering at least 7 or 8 feet tall. Its head was humanoid, but its face was obscured by the shadows. Then it did something that made my blood run cold. It looked directly at me. Its eyes were dark, intelligent, unblinking. For a moment, our gazes locked, and I felt a jolt of fear so intense it nearly brought me to my knees. It wasn't a bear. It wasn't an animal at all. It was something else. Something older. Something that knew I was there all along. With a start, it turned and disappeared into the trees. I stood frozen. The forest was silent except for the pounding of my heart. Then it happened again. Footsteps, heavy and deliberate, echoing through the trees. But now it sounded like more than one animal was stalking me. I was surrounded by guttural growls and snapping trees. An overall sense of danger rushed through my body, overcome with fear. I turned and ran, dropping my bow and quiver next to my moose, stumbling over roots and rocks in my haste. I knew I had to get out of there now. I didn't dare look back. I didn't want to see what was pursuing me. I just kept running. Finally, I reached the safety of my truck, collapsing against it in relief. I could hear the creature crashing through the underbrush, getting closer. I fumbled for my keys, desperate to get away. When the engine roared to life and the truck lurched forward, I slammed my foot down on the accelerator and sped away. Looking back, I saw it standing at the edge of the clearing, watching me go. Out of nowhere, another Bigfoot jumped out of the brush, slamming into the front side of my truck. I tried to control it, but on that snowy road, I lost control and went skidding off the road and into the bushes. I stayed in the truck, not daring to move, not daring to breathe. I knew it was there, watching me, waiting for me to make a move. I sat there for what felt like hours, listening to the wind in the trees, watching the shadows dance in my vision. Finally, headlights coming my way. A forest ranger making his rounds. He stopped and I told him what had happened. He latched on and pulled my truck back onto the road. I drove home, shaken and afraid. The next morning, I gathered some hunting buddies and went to try to salvage my bull. None of them believed my story and said it was probably a bear that had scared me out of the woods. We arrived at the spot where I had parked the previous morning, and the forest ranger's truck was parked there. He must be investigating my story. When we made it to the clearing where my bull had laid, all that was left was a bloody spot in the snow and some ripped material. It almost looked like a piece of the jacket the forest ranger was wearing last night. Just then, a huge Bigfoot appeared from the forest and threw a tree in the hunter's direction as it snarled. We turned and ran for the truck as fast as possible. We made it back to the truck and headed straight to the ranger station as fast as possible on the snowy road. The investigation into the incident and the missing ranger is ongoing. Some say that Bigfoot is nothing but a myth, a tall tale told around campfires to scare young hikers. But after this experience, they all knew better. The woods held secrets ancient and powerful, and they had stumbled upon one of them. Bigfoot. They had survived this encounter, but the ranger has never been seen again, and they all knew they would never truly be free of the terror they encountered. The forest is watching, so the next time you step into the wild, ask yourself, are you the hunter, or just another guest in Bigfoot's forest?
For more survivalist videos, be sure to leave a like and smash that subscribe button. As always, BF out!